so glad I made it.
Yeah, so nice to see you. Sorry for the technical error earlier. I don't know what was going on, but I'm glad we're
No,
live
the
now.
error was my phone, man. So I got this iPhone, उसमें नहीं हो रहा था. So I joined from
No
the other phone
worries.
and.
It's a part of doing business these days. Quickly, just to get started, you can just talk a little bit about the work you do, how you founded CoinCrunch, things like that.
Sure, absolutely. So I run something called as CoinCrunch India, and about in 2017, I was working for. I worked in Deloitte and I worked in Infosys as a technology consultant, and I quit that. And in 2016, 2017, I was working with Network 18
Okay.
as a producer, a lead producer in the media company. And then from there, I learned a little bit about Bitcoin from some ex-colleagues and from current colleagues, and I started researching it. And I realized that there is not enough information about blockchain and cryptocurrencies in India. So I started writing blogs about them on my personal blog, and I started getting like 50,000, 1 lakh hits in a day because there was a lot of curiosity from people about it. And I thought that this could be a viable business, so let's just convert it into a media company and start sharing the knowledge that I'm gathering with other people, right? So we've always followed that principle on CoinCrunch, that everything is sort of thorough and completely taken care of.
Got it. So, as a concept for most people, cryptocurrency still seems very gray, very murky. So, how are you seeing India sort of perceive cryptocurrency adoption of all things blockchain and crypto in India? How has that evolved since you started?
I No, I think that when I started, people were really crazy about cryptocurrencies because everybody was getting filthy rich. Now there is a lot of understanding in people about being careful about what they are getting into. So over time, we've seen a paradigm shift in a way that more and more people are now being cautious about where they're investing their money. And that was not the case in 2017, and it's not completely eradicated even now. So we still
Right.
have scams, and like you saw yesterday, and what we are going to talk about, right? We still have people who are scamming other people.
So let's just jump into that right now. First of all, for people who don't know, if you can just quickly tell us about what exactly happened, and then we can dive into what we can do to prevent things like that happen. How do we educate ourselves? So I'll let you take the lead on that.
Okay, perfect. So, what happened was not your fault. Okay, even if you had the best of security, chances were that you would have been hacked. Okay, you could have been hacked because what happened was somebody was able to social engineer or social hack. What it means is they were able to convince a certain set of employees to give them access to a tool that Twitter uses to be able to change any information about any user. Okay.
Got it.
So Twitter is an internal tool that allows you to change any information about any user, like email address, or 2FA or something. And these hackers were able to social engineer. So they were able to convince the Twitter employees. This is what is coming out right now, to get access to this tool. And then when they got the access to the tool, they what they started doing was they started targeting prominent users, changed their email address, and then logged in from the email address and tweet on their behalf. And I think somebody actually made the script public on GitHub as well, how to do it. So that's how it happened. So no matter what your security, there was a Twitter layer which was compromised, and nothing could have stopped your account from being hacked.
So basically, what happened was we had some of the biggest people in the world, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, etc., tweet a link telling people that they're going to double your Bitcoin amount that you put into their account. That's what happened. And how many people actually fell for this? What happened?
So there were three things that happened. Okay, the first one was that Binance, which is one of world's largest cryptocurrency exchange. Okay, it started with them. So Binance tweeted that they are giving away 5,000 bitcoins. You just have to click on the link, and then that link would take you to a site where they will ask you to send more money, send money to them, so you will get money from them. from Binance,
Right.
right? So that's a short way of understanding that it's a scam. Like if somebody says that send me, send you more, it's a scam, right?
Right.
So that first one was that. The second one was they started giving the address out. Okay, with what happened with Elon Musk, or what happened with Bloomberg, and what happened with Joe Biden was that they just started giving out addresses. So people were asked to send funds to this Bitcoin address, and in return they were told that they will get double the funds. Okay,
Right.
and I can't believe that they were able to amass about $112,000 worth of Bitcoin out of this scam. Okay, over 800 transactions were made to this address.
Right.
So yeah, the hackers were successful in gathering $100,000.
Yeah, it's incredible to even see people fall for something like this. But having said that, no one expected, a tweet coming from some of the biggest, most influential people directly, right? So
Yes.
there is a certain level of, genius there behind this as well, from the actual hackers.
Actually, these scams are not really new. Okay,
Right.
ever since 2017, we've been seeing these are called fake Bitcoin phishing links or something like that, right? So we've been seeing people getting hacked and people tweeting this and people running live videos on YouTube, running these scams, right? So it's not new, it's not innovative. What is innovative is that somebody was able to become God on Twitter and access any account that they could. And the unfortunate thing is that they decided to just steal people to give them Bitcoin. There could have been 100 other ways they would have made more money. Somebody was
Right.
asking, don't you think that the amount was less? It was less. I mean, if I had this God mode access, I'd be a millionaire right now. Okay, so that's the thing. So they were not creative. The solution, the hack was already old. They just got really smart in accessing Twitter. That's what happened.
Right, absolutely. So very interesting. So let's actually break this down, right? And let's talk about the overall crypto impression. So what happens with the cryptocurrency market is the volatility, right? It's obviously very volatile. A lot of people are advocates of such volatilities, or a lot of people are not advocates. We're not going to go into that. But the point is that the trust factor, right? The trust factor of cryptocurrency as a whole has always been something that people in your field of work have been trying to build over time. And scams like this undermine it to a bit, right? So can you talk a little bit about that as well?
I think that people who are running a business around it, they need that trust factor. So we want you to believe in Bitcoin so that our business works, right?
Right.
Because we have a business that depends on you buying and selling Bitcoin. I'm talking about
Right.
exchanges, okay? And
Right.
you've hosted one of the exchanges in your,
Absolutely.
co-working space. So for them, it's important that they build a trust factor that if you invest in this, we cannot control the volatility, but your funds are safe with us. That
Right.
kind of trust we need to build, right? But for people who are investors and who are believers in the technology, this is the proof that this is sound money. Okay, you cannot take back cryptocurrencies. You cannot charge back. I could defraud you right now by sending you 50,000 rupees as a payment and then call the bank and stop payment. I
Right.
cannot do that in Bitcoin. This is evidence. This hack is actually an evidence that Bitcoin works. That Bitcoin is one of the preferred digital currencies in the world. And everybody uses cash, dollars everywhere in all the bad activities. And the transactions that happened on Bitcoin just taught these 100, 800, 900 people that they should not fall for the scams. For me, as an investor, I think that the hack was a proof that Bitcoin is doing what it's supposed to do. But for exchanges, they need to build that trust factor that the funds are going to be safe. Right?
So let me show you the other. I mean, like I said, you're from the other perspective, right? Someone who's not an investor who's getting into Bitcoin. This kind of scares them, though, right? You're like, okay, I'm new to this field. I put some money in, and now I don't have no way of getting it out, or I'm too worried about. Think about it from someone says noob hacker, but what about a noob investor? What happens to them?
So a newbie investor is, see, I think I am going to have a very controversial opinion on this. Okay, so
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
So if you are a new investor and if you are investing into something and if you are not doing your due diligence, if you are not putting some effort into learning about it before putting money into something, then if you lose the funds, it's your fault, right?
Absolutely. Okay.
Nobody is going to come to you and say buy Bitcoin without telling you what's important. Okay. And if they don't tell you to buy. So that's very important. And in the industry, this is evident that you don't jump into something without researching. So that being said, if as a new investor you are scared that we are hearing news about things getting scammed and hacked and people losing funds, here's the thing, right? You have one opportunity to take a risk with a new technology which works, which is
Right.
sound money, which is different than fiat currencies, which has a lot of. Let's not get into all the benefits of Bitcoin, right? But you have one opportunity to invest and probably make a fortune out of it in coming years, right? So we always say, just put the money and think about it. Don't think about it. Put only what you can afford to lose, because if you are not going to put an effort to keep it safe, then you don't want to really put money that you cannot afford to lose. So put money that you can afford to lose, and then look at it, understand it, learn about it, and then decide whether you want to put more money or take out what you have put. That's how you have to go about it.
Fair enough. Let's talk about actually protecting the interests of someone who's not that. Like you said, education is one aspect of it. But what about regulation? There's absolutely no regulation either, right? So
There
where do you?
is,
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you can. So again, like I said, from a new person coming in, there's no regulation. How do I know that the crypto exchange I'm investing in today gets hacked and I get my money back? How do I, build trust with the people who are running the show right now? They're all private entities. There's no government regulation happening right now. So how do I save
that's right.
my? Yeah. So how? What do I do then?
See, if you are going to okay, so just a little bit of basics about cryptocurrency. Okay,
Yeah.
so think about it that as an investor, when you are investing in cryptocurrencies, you have you have to understand that it's different than your normal investments, right? You put money in bank, the bank is the custodian of your money. You don't
Absolutely.
really. Similarly, if you keep your cryptocurrencies in an exchange, the exchange is the custodian of your cryptocurrency, your assets. So it's not in your control. So if you
Right.
really want to keep it, it's best to take it out into a wallet that you can control.
Right.
That is one thing.
Right.
But see that all the exchanges also say that if you are not really trading, you are just keeping it for long term. Take it out and put it safely into your wallet. That's one way to be safe. Without regulations, or even with regulations, there is no guarantee of fund safety, because there are always loopholes that will allow people to get away with it.
Right. So again, there's a certain level of trust that's important there, right? So what
Yes.
we keep coming back to trust. Most people, because a bank has been around, it's an institution that's been around for so long, there's more trust associated with it. And that's a psychological trust. Tomorrow PNC does the same thing and your money is lost, it happens. But the
Yeah.
point here is trust, right? And incidents like this will keep degrading your trust right?
Well, yes. See, incidents like these should not degrade your trust in cryptocurrencies. Because what is this? This is not a Bitcoin hack. This
Right.
is a Twitter hack, right?
Right.
So what did they do? They said that send us Bitcoins. Tomorrow, if they say that send us, credit card details and we will swipe your credit card, we are not going to lose our trust on the credit cards, right? Or we are not going to lose our trust on the banking system. It's just new money, new technology, and they're utilizing it as much as they want. They can utilize it, right? If regulations come in, I'm sure that Bitcoin addresses will be much more traceable. People will be able to find out who are the hackers behind it. But until that comes, if you are smart enough, you will not lose money. So it's not about it's about trusting when you are investing money. But the idea of cryptocurrencies is to not trust anybody, right?
Right.
It's a decentralized asset, which means that you are not supposed to trust anybody. And if we keep coming back to keeping our money in the hands of somebody else, we will always have the risk of losing that. So I always say that exchanges are a great gateway to get your funds, but then it's upon you to keep them safe. that is what we have to understand, that we've gotten so used to this system where we are trusting others and we lose money and we still keep on trusting them. We need to get out of that mindset. That's what the core purpose of cryptocurrencies or assets are, right?
So
So there's a
if you were a brand new investor, you heard this news and you heard about the previous sentiment attached to cryptocurrency. And let's talk about India specifically here. How would you go about getting into this field? What would your first steps be? How would you sort of protect yourself and being able to still be part of this thing and maybe make money? How would you go about that?
Great. Say that's a good question, right? Now, if I am new into this industry and if I want to be part, if I want to buy a little bit of Bitcoin, like a fractional Bitcoin, so that I get I want to make money. At the end of the day, everybody wants to make money. Okay.
Right.
So we want to increase our value. So I think that I will put in 1 lakh rupees into Bitcoin, right? Buy. So first gateway is we need to buy it from someone who is selling it or who offers a platform where everyone can buy and sell cryptocurrency. And those are like your exchanges, like CoinDCX or WazirX or BitBNS.
So how do you pick
All,
between one of them, for example? How do I pick one?
how do you pick one is a good question. Okay, you just have to do your own research on that one. Okay, just look it up, or you know what? Best is the sign up and read on them what they have to offer, because as soon as you sign up you get a little bit of understanding of what is happening over there, right? So you just sign up onto one platform and then you see how you can buy cryptocurrencies, or you know what, there are videos of people like me on YouTube, a lot of
Right.
them, watch them. Okay, not me, but many of them are there. So watch them and then understand. This is what I meant when I said earlier, that do not get into it without knowing what you are getting into, right? Don't jump on the bandwagon, right? So once you have seen some videos, you've done some Google search, you will know exactly what you want to do. You will know exactly how much you want to buy, and you will also know what you want to do with that purchase that you've made. Okay, it's just about looking it up before investing. That's it.
So fair enough, but let's talk about some resources available to everyone, right? So you spoke. Can you tell me a little bit about your YouTube handle? How you go about tackling problems such as trust, problems such as investing for the first time, picking an exchange? What is your thought process? How do you build a
Okay,
business based
great.
on content?
I have to be neutral about talking about exchanges,
You don't
because being
you don't have to be neutral about anything here. It's your
you
opinion
know,
and
I
you
have
can
to
go
be
to
neutral
someone.
about giving you a name of an exchange, because
Fair,
my
that's fair.
job is to be, sort of fair to everybody, right? I run a news channel. For me,
Right,
everyone is equal. If anybody is going to make
right,
mistake, I'm going to call them out, right? So
right,
here's the thing. Very simple tip. If you want to invest in cryptocurrencies, you have to buy them through an exchange. So your question is, which exchange is good, which exchange is safe, right? And my answer is that whatever it is that you were told about by your friend or by your colleague, or you looked it up yourself, and if you go there and if you see the site and if you see that there is no phishing kind of an activity, if you see that you can sign up and there is enough security, like you're getting 2FA emails, you're getting to SMS codes, all those things if are happening, it is relatively safe. Let's forget about the names and all. It is relatively safe. The second thing is you have to put in money, right? So put small amount and see if it's working. Any
absolutely.
platform it is. Put small amount. Don't just put like 20,000 rupees like one said. Put 100 rupees. Right? I know there is
Right,
an exchange that offers that the first time investors on their exchange have put 101 rupees all the time. Like 101 का
right,
टीका लगाया. Right?
right.
So put small amount. See, mentally understand what it is, right? The real answer is that if you just look it up, you will not have to think about where I want to buy cryptocurrencies from, but
Right.
you have to look it up.
Fair enough.
Somebody is going to guide you anyway to one exchange.
Absolutely, and I mean, that's a great way to start. Like anything, you gotta experiment with it, learn about it, and maybe you'll get into it over time, or you'll realize it's not for you even. So that's a possibility as well. So yeah, that's something that you can experiment with going forward.
See,
Let me just
Umang, just 30
yeah,
seconds.
fair
Okay,
enough, fair enough. Go
I
ahead.
don't believe in educating people about cryptocurrencies. I don't, because no matter what I say, tomorrow they will see that some other coin is giving them 550, 100% returns. They are not going to listen to my advice and they are going to go into that scam by mistake, you say. They will go there. So my goal
Right.
is to not educate people who have no idea about cryptocurrencies. My goal is to educate people who will ask me the first question, right? Who has done some bit of research and then come to me and say that, oh, I'm confused, I don't know what to do. And I think that should be everybody's goal. And that's how you know that you're taking the right people and giving them the right direction, right? So you don't also feel
Absolutely.
bad. Your conscience is also clean. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough, and that's fantastic. And that's the first layer of research that you're talking about that people need to do. Let me switch over to an India-specific question for you. Now, given the crypto climate in India, with the uncertainty, first it was banned, then it was not banned. Now, then there was news reports saying it may be illegal. What do you think the Indian market is going to be like for crypto? How should one protect themselves, and how should one think about this from a educated perspective?
Okay. So there was never a ban on cryptocurrencies. The ban was sort of on, the RBI had restricted banks from giving services to exchanges. So the banking channels had stopped, but cryptocurrency trading was really never banned. Okay, or buying and selling cryptocurrencies was never banned. So that is a notion that people have. So I just want to clarify that it was
No,
never banned.
fantastic. Yeah.
Second thing, the second thing is there was news about a proposal. There was a proposal to ban cryptocurrencies in its entirety in the country, which draft bill is still there, and we keep on hearing about it in the news every now and then. That the government is thinking about making it illegal to trade cryptocurrencies and all that, right? So, I mean, you don't. My opinion is that you don't really worry about that. When it happens, you will know. It's not like the government is going to demonetize your cryptocurrencies and then you can't do it. It's a worldwide phenomenon. Okay, you can take your cryptocurrencies out of the country. You can find people to trade cryptocurrencies. People who are hobbyists, people who are enthusiasts. You will always find ways with them. Okay, so the government cannot truly ban cryptocurrencies because they are borderless. They don't work within the confines of Indian state borders, right? So you don't have to think about that. I always tell people invest in Bitcoin. Tomorrow, if the government bans, just shut your mouth and keep quiet. Okay, you don't have to do anything illegal with it, but your money is going to be safe because you can use it anytime in the world, anywhere in the world, right?
Right. So there are two aspects of it. One was, like you correctly pointed out, demonetization, and that fear that suddenly all my money that's on an exchange right now will be lost to me forever, which you've clarified. And the second aspect of it was obviously thinking, I don't want to do something illegal. I don't want to go to jail, because like, every report that comes out also talks about a jail term. We talk about a fine, which also scares people. But like I said, any financial market is only as strong as the trust people have in it, or a new currency. So what is your kind of thought? Obviously we're talking here about people who are experienced in trading crypto and are doing it, have probably made money from it. But overall, a sentiment around it, like you're doing something illegal, how do you get that? How do you get that out of people's heads?
See, I said it before, right? That if somebody comes to me and says that Arey, Bitcoin is illegal, right? Then I will spend time with him or her to explain why it is not.
Right.
But if somebody comes to me and says that I've not really read about it, but I know that it's illegal and I don't want to think about it, then it's not my person to talk to. Like, they can just carry their opinion and move on, right?
Right.
So if somebody thinks that Bitcoin is illegal, it's because they have been exposed to that mass media campaign that also does not understand how the cryptocurrencies work essentially. Okay, so they have been exposed to those kind of news, and in this day and age, we always have an echo chamber. If we believe something, we will always see the news that will sort of re-establish that belief again and again and again into us. So we need to bring them out of them. So we need to show them why it is not illegal. We have to. If you confront someone, it works. Somebody comes to
Right.
me and says that it's illegal, I just say, okay, where did you read that? Right? And they're lost. Most of the time they're lost. There's no article that says, even the news media, what they do is they write these headlines, they sensationalize it for one day, and then the next day they change the headlines.
Right.
So you have no trace of them saying shitty things. So
Absolutely.
you confront them.
And I
Yeah,
think,
I know because I have presentations that have old articles and I look them up right now and they have completely different headlines. Okay, so
yeah, I think this needs to be addressed. One of these things. This needs to be addressed constantly by people like you, for example, because like you said, every time there's a scam that happens or someone hears, they associate it to being illegal or something dangerous, etc., which it's not. This kind of scams have been happening over decades with credit cards, with pyramid schemes, with things like that, where you're seeing money disappear forever. Um and that's why it was fantastic having you here to kind of talk through this and get people the right information. And I know you will not plug your YouTube channel, but let me. It's called Finally Jobless. It's got fantastic information about the whole crypto field, and if you
no,
want to get education.
CoinCrunch actually the YouTube for cryptocurrencies is CoinCrunch. Finally, Jobless
Quite
is
crunch.
my channel that used to be there. So
Sorry about that, but yeah, it was very interesting, and I really kind of stuck with me that name. And CoinCrunch obviously is where you need to sort of visit to get more information. Thank you so much again for your time. Really, really appreciate it.
one step before we go, right, I just want to say that I
Yeah.
know that somewhere down the line in this conversation, you hope that I would talk about how to increase trust in cryptocurrencies and how to increase the trust of people into this industry. But
Right.
you have to understand that the logic here is not for people to trust us or trust the platforms, but to really take them out of the idea that you need to trust everybody and bring them into the idea that there are systems in place now that do not require to be trusted, that do not require your trust, they just work without any intervention from anybody. Nobody can hack it, nobody can change it, and that's what Bitcoin is, right? It's decentralized, hundreds of millions of computers running a code. Nobody is a CEO in Bitcoin, right? So you don't have to trust anybody. So we say don't trust, verify. You can verify every single information. So that's the thing that I wanted to bring
And in
across.
fact, I completely agree with you. What Bitcoin does and what's beautiful about cryptocurrency itself is that you can finally not trust anyone and trust only yourself. You are the master of your own money and your own fortune then. So I think
Yes.
that is something that you were clearly and were able to highlight, which is fantastic, I think. And this is great information for anyone who is in it and is unsure or wants to get in it and needs to make that leap. So thank you again.
Yeah. Thank you so
Someone
much
touched
for
me.
having me. Thank you. Thank you so much.
It was fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Take care.